नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च गोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतवे श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे नमोऽस्तुते प्रचोदयामि। विशेषास्त्रवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौतम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम। Somebody like to recollect the last class?
Prabhuji, I was made to understand there was no class. You said that there's no class.
Yeah, last week there was no class. Before that.
Before that, I think we already said, no? Before that.
Okay.
Yeah, we already.
Okay. Last class we discussed 65 and 66 section. करे श्लाघ्यस्त्याग शिरसि गुरुपाद प्रणयित मुखे सत्यावाणी विजयी भुजयोर वीर्यमतुलम् हृदि स्वच्छावृत्ति श्रुतमधिगतं च श्रवणयोर वीणाप्यैश्वर्येण प्रकृतिमहतां मण्डनमिदम्. So we discussed this shloka, what is actually the ornament for the different limbs of the body. Giving charity or being magnanimous is the proper ornament for the hand. Bowing at the feet of the elders is the ornament for the head. True speech is the ornament for the mouth. And incomparable prowess is the ornament for the arms. And purity of the mind is the purity or the pure feeling, pure thoughts are the ornament for the heart. And the ornament for the ears is the Shastras. So even if a person does not have many other ornaments, but if a person possesses these qualities, he is considered to be beautiful. And then Sampatsu Mahatam Chittam Bhavat Utpalaka Komalam. Great people, when they are in prosperity, their heart becomes very soft-hearted. Instead of using the prosperity to enjoy in their life, rather they use their property to help those who are in trouble. Apatsucha Mahashaila Shila Sangata Karkasham. During difficulties, their heart is like hard, like the thunderbolt. Their heart is hard like the stones of the mountain. That means they become very sober. They don't get disturbed by the disturbances. So we'll go to the next shloka, 67th. Santaptayasi samsitasya payaso namapi na jnayate muktakarataya tadeva nalini. Patrastitam rajate. Vatyam sagara shukti madhya patitam tanmautikam jayate prayena adama madhyamottama guna sansargacho jayate. This is a very beautiful shloka given by Bhartrhari about association. You see the verse. Samtap, santapta, samtaptayasi. Santaptam means agnau prakshepa jwalitam. Burning iron actually. Santap, aya is the iron. Santapta ayasi. So the iron which is actually burning with fire or the hot iron. Santaptayasi samstitasya payasaha namapi na jnayate. Payasah is the water. So the water droplet which has fallen into the hot iron, namapi na jnayate. It completely it gets evaporated. Namapi na jnayate. That means nama deyam api na avagamyate. You can't even see any symptom that the water was present there. It immediately gets evaporated. But mukta karataya tadeva, but the same water droplet, tadeva, nalini patra sthitam. The same water droplet situated in the nalini patra. Nalini is a name for lotus. The same water droplet situated in the lotus leaf, mukta karataya rajate. It shines like the pearl. Mukta karataya rajate. So mukta karataya means mauktikasya akarah. It assumes the appearance of the pearl. And tat swatyam sagara shukti madhya patitam mauktikam jayate. The same water droplet, when it falls on the day of the Swati Nakshatra, on the Sagara Shukti. Sagara Shukti means oyster shell, actually. Oyster shell. When it falls in the oyster shell on the Swati Nakshatra, it actually becomes a pearl. Tan Mautikam Jayate. Prayena Adama Madhyama Uttama Gunaha Sansargato Jayate. Therefore, by association, a person develops a low quality or a medium quality or a uttama quality. The association is the cause of one's developing low, medium or good qualities. So that is the whole shloka is about association actually. Same water droplet, how it actually achieves different results by association. So not even a vestige remains of the water thrown on hot iron. So when we talk about association, I'll just discuss few shlokas and then we'll move to the next. So good association can make even an unqualified person achieve the impossible. Asajjana sajjana sangi sangat karoti dusadyam apiha sadyam pushpashrayat shambhu shirodi ruda pipilika chumbati chandrabimbam. Sajjana Sangi Sangat, by the association of great souls, Asajjana, an evil person, a rascal, can achieve the impossible. Dusadyam api iha sadyam. Just as a pipilika means an ant. Just as an ant in the association of a flower on the hair of Lord Shiva. Pushpashrayat Shambhu Shirodi Ruda. And in the association of a flower on the hair of Lord Shiva can actually perform the feat of touching the moon. Chumbati Chandra Bimbam. Because recently we had the Chandrayaan episode. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Chandra is moon is quite far from the earth. It is not possible to reach the moon even by the vehicles. But anyway, whatever the scientists they call some place as the Chandra, they have reached that place. Because at least the scientists are pious and many of the people that have faith in the Shastra, we don't want to ridicule them. So they have reached, there could be maybe another place called as Chandra, which they call, they have reached that place. Sometimes, suppose for example, somebody is in Pune and he's asking a friend, I want to go to Santa Cruz. One friend says that Santa Cruz is 160 kilometers from Pune. He asks another friend says that Santa Cruz is 5,000 kilometers from here. So first person is referring to the Santa Cruz which is there in Bombay. The second person is referring to the Santa Cruz which is there in United States. So both are called by the word Santa Cruz, but the distance is different. Similarly, sometimes Srimad Bhagavatam is referring to some Chandra which is quite far from the earth, which is not possible to reach by the mechanical vehicles. But there may be other Chandra described in other scriptures which maybe one may be possible to reach there by certain vehicles. So the scientists have reached there. But here, the analogy which is given is that an ant which is in a flower, but somehow that flower was plucked by a devotee of Lord Shiva, and then he is decorating Lord Shiva's hair with that flower. And that ant in that flower, it can perform the impossible task of touching the moon because Lord Shiva is called as Chandra Mauli. In his head, the crescent moon is there. So in that way, ordinarily an ant can never reach the moon, but by the association of the flower on the hair of Lord Shiva, it can perform the impossible task. This is another verse on the association. So when we talk about association of what actually association makes a person do is the two things. Association, because of association, a person gets a particular goal in life. And second, because of association, a person starts following a particular path to attain that goal. We can take it either in a positive way or a negative way. By good association, by sadhu sangha, a person becomes a person understands what is the highest goal in life. And by sadhu sangha, a person also becomes fixed in the path to attain that highest goal. And by durjana sangha, a person makes the goal in life as something very abominable, something very wrong, something very sinful. And by bad association, he also becomes fixed in the path to attain that wrong goal. For example, Dhruva Maharaj, initially he had a material ambition to attain a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. But by the association of Narada Muni, he initially became fixed in the path of bhakti. His goal did not change. His goal remained the same, to attain a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma, but he at least became fixed up in the path of bhakti. He was started practicing bhakti to attain that goal. But later, By practicing that path of bhakti with determination, he became purified, and then his even goal also changed. When Lord Vishnu appeared in front of him, he said, Swamin Kritartosmi Varamna Yache. I was looking for broken pieces of glass, but now I have obtained you. I am completely satisfied. I don't desire anything else. So his goal became actually association of devotees. His goal became service to Krishna. So we can see how Dhruva Maharaj, by Sadhu Sangha, Narada Muni, he became fixed in the goal of life. He became fixed in the path of Bhakti Yoga. Bharat Maharaj, when he went to the forest, he was fixed up in the path of sadhana bhakti, and his goal was fixed to attain the Supreme Personality of God. But because he was not having the association of devotees in the forest, he became attached to a deer. And by the association of the deer, and because of lack of association of devotees, Bharat Maharaj, he became slack in his sadhana, and then he forgot the very goal for which he came to the forest. And then he gave up his body by remembering the deer, and therefore he attained the body of a deer in the next life. So therefore, Prabhupada explains that Bharat Maharaj did not consult the Guru or the devotees when he became overly attached to the deer. And therefore, he forgot his spiritual routine, he forgot his spiritual goal, and he fell down. And therefore, Bharat Maharaj, later, when the third life, when he became Jada Bharat, he became so conscious of the spiritual goal. And as Jada Bharat, when he met Maharaj Raghuguna, and there is a detailed conversation between Maharaj Raghuguna and Jada Bharat. At the end of the conversation, Jada Bharat speaks a very profound words. What he says is that Raghuguna tapasana yati nache jaya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasa naiva jalagni suryair vina mahatpada rajobhishekam. He says, without bathing oneself in the dust from the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the Supreme Lord. Merely by controlling one's mind, or by performance of sacrifices, or by distributing food or charity, or building or doing some philanthropic activities, or by study of the Vedas, or performing austerities in the water, fire, or the sun. Simply by these things, one cannot realize the Lord. Only by the bathing oneself in the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one can realize the Lord. So Jada Bharat, he actually understood that lesson. Because of lack of association, he fell from a spiritual path. And now he concludes his instruction to Raghuguna with this actually profound point. So when we read the Shastras on our own, we get knowledge. But when we hear the Shastras from the sadhus who live by that, we get wisdom to apply that Shastric knowledge. And then when we actually put that wisdom and the knowledge into practice in our life in different situations, then we get realization, sakshatkara. And the combination of theoretical knowledge, practical wisdom, and realization is what is called as maturity. That is called as a maturity. So therefore, in order for a person to become mature, one should have theoretical knowledge of the Shastra, practical wisdom of how to apply the Shastra by hearing from the sadhus, and actually applying the Shastra in our life and getting realization. The combination of these three is maturity. And one important thing, this verse highlights about the association of Uttama, Madhyama, and Adama. But another important point is that even if we get the association of a Uttama, even if we get a Uttama association, but it is also important with what attitude we associate with that person. So there is also importance of having the right attitude while having the good association. Even if we have good Uttama association, if we don't have the right attitude, we may not be able to take benefit of that association. Devahuti says to Kardama Muni, when Kardama Muni was about to depart from the house to go to the forest, that time Devahuti realized, oh, Kardama Muni is such an advanced, detached sadhu. I did not realize
We
he
cannot
was.
hear you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. Devuti says to Kadama Muni, that much only we could hear.
Can you hear now? Are you able to hear now?
Yes.
So Devahuti says that Indriyarteshu sajjantya prasangas tvayime kritaha ajanantya param bhavam tatapyastu abhayayame. Devahuti says that I have associated with you while being attached to enjoyment. And ajanantya param bhavam, and I did not know your superior condition as a devotee with detachment. I underestimated you. So therefore, I associated with you only for my own enjoyment. So please actually give me fearlessness, like that Devahuti says. She says that Sangoya Samsmriter Hetur Asatsu Vihito Diya Sayeva Sadhushu Kruto Nisangatvaya Kalpate. Association with the materialist is the cause of bondage. And association with the sadhus leads to liberation. Association with the sadhus, even if it is done in ignorance, it leads to liberation. Therefore, since you are a great detached sadhu, please actually, I did not know your position. I associated with you while being attached to enjoyment. And therefore she says, Saham Bhagavato Nunam Vanchita Mayaya Dridam Yatvam Vimuktidam Prapya Namamuksheya Bandhanat. I have been thoroughly cheated by the insurmountable illusory potency of the Lord. Because in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, but I did not seek that liberation. I was only seeking material enjoyment. Therefore, this verses show that how, even if you obtain a Uttama association, what are we seeking from that association? That is important. Ambika, Ambalika, they associated with Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, incarnation of Vishnu. So both Ambika and Ambalika, they received the Virya of Vyasadeva. The Virya of Vyasadeva is like the Vishnu Prasad. But both of them, Ambika, when she saw Vyasadeva, by seeing the external bodily feature of Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva came directly from the Himalaya, his body was actually had matted hair and he had the appearance of a sage from the Himalayas. So Ambika, by looking at the Vyasadeva, she closed her eyes. She did not welcome Vyasadeva. So therefore, she gave birth to a child who was blind. Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, because he's the son of Vyasadeva, he had great Shastric knowledge. But because the mother of Dhritarashtra, Ambika, she had a reluctant attitude to receive that Virya of Vyasadeva, Dhritarashtra had reluctance to apply that knowledge. Because he's the son of Vyasadeva, he had great knowledge, but because his mother had a reluctant attitude, she was not welcoming Vyasadev's prasadam, Vyasadev's virya. Therefore, Dhritarashtra, he had a knowledge, but he had a reluctance to apply that knowledge. And Ambalika also, when she saw Vyasadeva, by seeing the appearance of Vyasadeva, she actually became pale. So because of that, the son born out of her, Pandu, he had a particular disease. I forget the name. But the Pandu was also born pale. But the Shudrani, who associated with Vyasadeva, she had such a great service attitude towards Vyasadeva. She was grateful to have the association of Vyasadeva. Therefore, she gave birth to a great Mahajana, that is Vidur. Therefore, it is important that even if a person obtains the best association, Vyasadeva, do we have the right attitude? That is also important. So, Prahlad Maharaj and Kayadu both obtained the association of Narada Muni. Prahlad Maharaj was there in the womb. And Narada Muni was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Kayadu. But Prahlad Maharaj, who heard from the womb, Prahlad Maharaj became a great devotee. He became a great Mahajan. But Kayadu did not experience much a transformation. What is the reason? Tattu kalasya dirgatvat stritvan matu stirodade rishi nanugruhitam mam nadunap ajahat smritihi. Because of the long duration of time that had passed, and because of the womanly nature of Kayadu, she forgot the instructions of Narada Muni. But Prahlad Maharaj did not forget. So Prabhupada writes in that purport, Kayadu, although she heard directly from Narada Muni, because she was attached to material enjoyment, therefore she forgot the instructions of Narada Muni in due course of time. Therefore, it is important that even if a person obtains a sadhu sangha, if a person maintains one material attachment, one may not experience transformation. Just like the famous story, a marriage party was had to cross the river to reach the another village to go for the marriage on the next day. So they boarded the boat in the night, and then in the morning when they woke up, they saw the boat in the same place actually. And then they asked the boatman, "You are rowing the boat throughout the night, but the boat is in the same place. What is the matter?" And the boatman at that time he realized that he forgot to remove the anchor. The boat was tied to the anchor. So because of that, although he was rowing the boat throughout the night, the boat did not make any progress on it. So therefore, when a person is maintaining one's material enjoyment, which is like the anchor, then even when if a person associates with the sadhu, one doesn't experience the transformation. Mahabharata, Vanaparva, there is a shloka which says that Buddhischa hiyate pumsam nichai saha samagamat madhyair madhyamatam yati sreshtatam yati chottamaihi. So this verse says that what is the yardstick by which we can understand whether we are having a good sangha or a bad sanga, whether we are having a good association or a madhyama association or a adama association. This says that buddhischa hiyate pumsam. When we associate with the low class people, one's intelligence suffers degradation. And madhyair madhyamatam yati. And it remains average and associating with those who are average. And sreshtatam yati chotamai. And attains greatness and associating with those who are great. And there is another shloka which is actually quoted by Hiranyakashipu. He was the one who originally quoted the verse, but with a different intention. But Rupa Goswami quotes the same shloka, I think from Narasimha Purana, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Hiranyakashipu says that Yasya yat sangati pumso manivat syatsa tadgunaha. A person takes upon the qualities of the individual he associates with, exactly like a transparent crystal, taking upon the color of the object next to it. Therefore, association becomes important. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami says that Sajatiya shaye snigde sadau sanga swato vare. So he says that to which type of sadhus, of course, sadhus means it's not that somebody is in saffron or something. Sadhus can be grahasthas, sadhus can be any grahasthas, matajis or prabhujis. Sadhu is not simply by appearance of a sadhu, a saffron dress. So in the Bhagavatam, sadhu is defined as Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadhavaha. Sadhus means a purified men who are thoroughly honest, who take pleasure in Krishna Katha. Nayat Vachas Chitra Padam Harer Yasho Jagat Pavitram Pragraniti Karhichit Tad Vayasam Tirtha Mushanti Manasa Nayatra Hamsa Niramantu Shikshaya Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abaddavatyapi Namani Anantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadavaha. The sadhus are purified men who are thoroughly honest, who take pleasure in Krishna. So here Rupa Goswami says that one should associate with the sadhus who are similar in devotional mood. Sajatiyaha. Snigdaha, who are affectionate towards oneself. Svatovaraha, who are more advanced than oneself. In this way, he talks about sadhu sangi. So this is about this shloka. We'll go to next shloka. Preenati yasucharita pitaram saputro yadbartureva hitamichyati tatkalatram tanmitramapadi sukecha samakriyam yad yetatrayam jagati punyakrito labante. So this verse says that yaha sucharitaihi pitaram Preenati saha putraha or saha eva putraha. That person, by good sucharitaihi, by good conduct, pleases one's father. That person is the real putra. He is the real son. Yat bartuhu hitam ichyati tadeva kalatram. So that woman who desires the welfare of the husband, she is the real wife. Tadeva kalatram. She is the real wife. Yad apadi sukecha samakriyam tadeva mitram. So that person who is equal towards, who is equal both in prosperity and in distress, that person is the real friend. He is the real friend. And yetatrayam jagati punya kritaha labante. To get such a son, to get such a wife, and to get such a friend, Only a person who has actually performed a great punya can obtain such a son, wife, and a friend. So we can see this verse talks about who is the real son, wife, and a friend, and how can a person obtain such people? Only by punya. So if we talk about son, it is described about who is a putra. Punnamno narakadyasmat pitaram trayate sutah tasmat putra iti prokta swayameva swayambhuva. So putra is that person who actually delivers the father from going to the hell called as put. So therefore, Brahmaji has called him as putra. So one who, by performing shraddha, who actually delivers the father from going to the hell called as put, he is called as the putra. We also discussed these verses previously. So when we talk about this verse, talks about a real son is one who has good conduct. But on opposite to that, when a person has a bad son, how the bad son, a son with a bad conduct, how he actually, what are the bad results which a person obtains by having the bad son? 6 results are mentioned. Yata papiyasi kirtir adharmascha mahan rinam yato viroda sarvesham yata adir anantakam. Because of a bad son, one gets a sinful reputation. Papiyasi kirtir. And second, adharmascha mahan rinam. The adharma will increase. Adharma will arise. And third, yato viroda sarvesham. Because of a bad son, lot of quarrel starts in a family or in a community. Yata adir anantakaha. And the fourth result is a bad son brings about endless anxiety. And then kastam prajapadesham vai moha bandhana matmanaha pandito bahumanyeta yadartha kleshada graha. So which intelligent person would value a son in name only, who is the cause of one's bondage and illusion, and because of whom the house is full of suffering? So bad son results in the cause of, he becomes the cause of bondage and illusion. This is the fifth result. And sixth is that the house becomes full of suffering. So this is about the son. Therefore, the son, real son is one who actually pleases the father by good conduct. And the real wife is somebody who desires the welfare of the husband. Desires the welfare of the husband. But somehow, actually, nowadays, seeing one video, he mentioned one important point: why there is so much of diverse in the Hindu community or in general. One of the main reason is that because there is lack of training both for the man and for the woman. So Chanakya Pandit says that according to astrology, a man is considered fortunate if he has good wealth, if he has good sons and a good wife. But out of the three, one who has a very good wife is considered most fortunate, even if he does not have sons or a wealth. But if he has a wife who is actually concerned about his welfare, then he is considered most fortunate. We discussed some shlokas even before also. The Mahabharata, it is said that wife is the friend of a person at man at home. And there is a beautiful shloka in the Mahabharata Adi Parva, which says that suppose a man is traveling in the forest in difficult places. Even if he's traveling in the very dense, fearsome forest. But if his wife, if he has a wife who is concerned about the welfare of him, if his wife is next to him, then he can remain happily even in the dense forest. And even in the ordinary dealings, a man who has a wife, people usually put trust on such a man. Many times even giving out.
Sorry, Prabhuji, to interrupt. What is that? Who is that king? Or I don't recollect. But his wife had taken some golden pot for her husband to drink, and then he said that you leave that attachment in the forest. Don't carry that golden pot also.
I think maybe Quraysh and
She okay.
So even in the ordinary dealings, many times when people want to give the house for rent, they are little suspicious about, they are reluctant to give the house for the bachelors. But if a man has a wife, then they actually put trust on the man. They give the house for rent because they understand that, oh, this person will be on the right path because of the wife. That is why in the Bhagavatam it is said that a chaste wife is the good intelligence of the man. Good intelligence of the man. Even if the man goes astray, a chaste wife will bring that man into the right path. So when the man is following the path of dharma, the wife should follow that path of dharma. Wife should actually follow the husband. If the man is not following the path of dharma, the wife should advise that husband to and bring him back to the path of dharma. So that is how we say the wife's role is, and we say that a wife is concerned about the welfare of the husband. That means assisting him, supporting him when he is following the path of dharma, and bringing him back to the path of dharma when he is deviating from the path of dharma. So that is what we say, that wife is concerned about the welfare of the husband. And like for example, there is a shloka in the Champu Ramayana. Now, Champu Ramayana, Lord Ram in separation from Sita, Lord Ram is speaking a beautiful verse. Champu Ramayana is a very famous book. It's known for very poetic description of Ramayana. Very beautiful poetry is there. So, Lord Ram says that Adau Siddho Shadireva Hita Keli Kale Vayasya Patni Tretaya Janasamaye Kshatriyanyeva Yuddhe Shishya Devat Vijapitra Samaradane Banduratrau Sita Same Shishirita Mahakanne Kanajata. Sita was a medicine to my mind in its afflictions. She was my playmate in my sporting hours. She stood by me as my wife when I was engaged in the sacrifice. She showed me the rare courage of a Kshatriya lady when I went to battle. And she assisted me with the meticulous care of a pupil to his guru in my rites to propitiate the gods, the Dvijas and my ancestors. And when I was sick in my body, she nursed me with loving kinship. What has she not done to me in the biting cold of this dense forest? So, and that way, Lord Rama is speaking in separation from Sita. And also, if you see in the Saptapadi mantra, which is uttered at the time of the marriage, there are beautiful verses. Saka Saptapada Bhava, Sakayau Saptapada Babuva, Sakyam Te Gameyam, Sakyate Mayausham. So by these 7 steps, you have become my lifelong friend. We have become friends. I shall not deviate from your friendship. May you not deviate from my friendship. We have been united. May we live together. So like that, these meanings are there. And then And the fourth is the real friend is somebody who is equal in both in prosperity and in difficulty. So in the Ramayana Kishkinda Kanda, when Lord Ram was actually suffering in separation from Sita, that time Sugriva comes and consoles Lord Ram. And Sugriva says, Lord Ram, Adyo vapi daridro va dukkita sukhitopi va nirdosho va sadosho va vayasya paramagatihi. So Adyo vapi daridro va, whether a person is a rich man or a poor man. Dukkita sukhitopi va, whether a person is sad or a happy man. Nirdosho va sadosho va, whether a person is flawless or with flaws. Vayasya paramagatihi. The friend is the ultimate refuge. The friend is the ultimate refuge to your friend. In that way, to obtain actually a proper friend, wife and a son, it takes great piety. Sometimes simply to obtain a son is not sufficient. So son with a good character, because sometimes it is said that an enemy also may take birth as our son, and that son, by his bad character, he brings great troubles to us. So that means that that's a sign of our papa actually. That's a sign of our sin. We get a son with a bad character, and he might have been an enemy in the previous life. So Narada Muni gives this analogy to Chitraketu Maharaj in the 6th canto. So these are some points about son, wife, and a friend. Then we'll go to next shloka. One shloka I'm skipping, but we'll see that later. नम्रत्वेणोन्नमन्त परगुणकथनै स्वान् गुणान् ख्यापयन्त स्वार्थान् सम्पादयन्तो वितत पुरुतरा आरम्भयत्ना परार्थे शान्त्यै वाक्षे परुक्षाक्षर मुकरमुकान् दुर्जनान् दूषयन्त सन्तश्चाश्चर्यचर्या जगति बहुमता कस्य नाभ्यर्चनीयाः. So this very beautiful shloka. So this verse talks about namratvena unmattaha. Namratva means humility. Namratvena unnamantaha. That means can say that those who are ennobled by humility are those who are namrata se hi unnati karne wale. By humility, they actually become advanced. They become glorious. Those who are glorious because of their humility. Namratvena unnamantaha. Unnamantaha means unnatim prapnuvantaha. Those who make progress because of humility. Those who obtain unnati because of humility. And then paraguna katanaihi swan gunan khyapayantah. Paraguna katanaihi. By glorifying the qualities of others, swan gunan khyapayantah. Swan gunan means one's own glory, one's own qualities. Khyapayanta. Khyapayanta means prasiddhim nayantah. That means they don't put endeavor to speak about themselves, but by glorifying others' good qualities, they actually they display their good qualities. They don't try to show off themselves by speaking about themselves, but by describing the good qualities of others, they actually they become glorious, or their good qualities get displayed. और we can say दूसरों के गुणों के कथन द्वारा ही अपने गुणों को प्रकट करने वाले. हाँ. And then third is परार्थे. वर्ग. So the third quality is that pararte vitata krututara arambhayatnaha swartan sampadayantah. Pararte means paresham arte, for the sake of others' benefit. Pararte vitata krututara arambhayatnaha. Vitata prututara. Vitata means what? Vitata means vistritah. Prututara aramba yatnaha. Yatna means efforts. Prututara aramba yatna means for the sake of others' benefit, one who puts elaborate, great efforts. And simply by that effort, swartan sampadayantah. That means by helping others for the sake of others' benefit, one who puts a great endeavor to help others, and he considers that itself as one's wealth, or he considers simply by helping others, one who obtains a great sampati, one who gets great prosperity, or what we can say is that one who achieves their own objects by extended efforts in large deeds undertaken for others. So those who are ennobled by humility, who display their own virtues by relating the virtues of others, who achieve their own objects by extended efforts in large deeds undertaken for others. And then the fourth is Akshepa Rukshakshara Mukara Mukan. Akshepa Rukshakshara Mukara Mukan. So Akshepa means what? Akshepa means Akshepena means Nindaya. Somebody who is actually criticizing us. Ruksha. Rukshakshara means Akshara means the words. Rukshakshara means with harsh words. Akshepa Rukshakshara Mukara Mukan. So somebody who is criticizing us with the sharp words. Mukara Mukan. Mukara means Vachalam Asambadha pralapa purna. So one whose mouth is filled with harsh words to criticize us. But on encountering such a person, one who displays tolerance. Akshepa rukshakshara mukara mukan durjanan. So a durjana who is having this quality. Akshepa rukshakshara mukara mukan. With that durjana, shantya eva dushayantaha. So one who displays a tolerance, one who displays forgiveness towards such a durjana. So the four qualities are mentioned: humility, and second, glorifying others' good qualities, and third, putting great effort to help others, and fourth, tolerating the harsh words spoken by the durjana. So all these four qualities are very, very difficult qualities actually. Because the general tendency is to be display one's, to be proud and to show off one's actually qualities. General tendency is that we want to speak about ourselves. General tendency is to work for our own benefit instead of helping others. And the general tendency is to have the attitude of tit for tat. Somebody speaks harsh, we also speak harsh back to the person. But these four qualities are very difficult qualities. Sa Ascharya Charya Bahumataha Santaha Jagati Kasyana Abhyarchaniyaha. So these four qualities are Ascharya Charya. These are very amazing qualities which actually, to see this quality itself is amazing. Ascharya Charya Bahumata Santaha. A saint who has all these qualities, such a person is a causes great amazement. To see such a saint is very rare. So if a saint, if a sajjana has these qualities, then such a sajjana becomes worshipable by others. Kasyana abhyarchaniyaha. Who will not worship such a sajjana who has such a amazing qualities? What are those amazing qualities? One who progresses by humility, one who simply takes pleasure in glorifying others, and by that one displays one's quality, one who puts great effort to help others, and one who tolerates the harsh words spoken by the Durjana. So who will not worship such a Sajjana? Santah Jagati Kasyana Abhyarchaniyaha. So those who are ennobled by humility, who display their own virtues by relating the virtues of others, who achieve their own objects by extended efforts in large deeds undertaken for others, who rebuke only by their patience the evil speakers whose mouths are full of harsh and slanderous words. These people are the persons of admirable conduct. Ashcharya Charya Bahumataha, commanding the respect of all in this world. Abhyarchaniyaha. So who would not respect such a person? So Hindi Anwad, read the Hindi Anwad. नम्रता से ही उन्नति करने वाले, दूसरों के गुणों के कथन द्वारा ही अपने गुणों को प्रकट करने वाले, दूसरों के लिए बड़े भारी कार्यों के करने में फैले हुए उद्योग के द्वारा ही अपने कार्य को सिद्ध करने वाले, निंदा वचन के रूखे अक्षरों के मुकर मुख वाले दुर्जनों को क्षमा के द्वारा ही अपराधी ठहराने वाले, आश्चर्य युक्त आचरण वाले परम पूज्य सज्जन संसार में किसकी पूजा के पात्र नहीं होते. So this verse also talks about the qualities of a sajjana. We will discuss about this verse, the different examples in the next class. So right now I will stop here. We will go to the next shloka also. Anybody has any questions or comments? Very beautiful slokas by Bhartrihari. These slokas are very good actually. When we talk about the schools, there is like moral education or value education is that oftentimes the current schools, the value education concept is we are following the Christian model of value education. If you want to follow the Sanatan Dharma model of value education, we have to teach books like Bhartrihari, Siti Shataka, Hitopadesha, Panchatantra, Viduraniti, Yaksha Prashna, because these books are from the Sanatan Dharma. They teach us actually the dharmic principles. And profound shlokas with a good, very good examples, analogies. People can will develop appreciation for the Sanskrit language, and not only Sanskrit language, Sanskrit language filled with beautiful meanings, meaningful words. Correct. So there are no more questions. I'll stop here. We'll meet next time. Correct.